Carolyn Dube here, and today I'm playing in my art journal. And I was totally inspired by this piece of paper that was from playing and who knows what. You know how you have those junk pieces of paper around that end up looking kind of cool? So that's the one that inspired this. Well, I went and found this journal page that clearly I was just cleaning something off on and decided I was going to go with that. The tool that I'm using here is the Catalyst Mini Blade, and I'm just smearing paint around. I'm not thinking really hard. I'm avoiding that top corner because that's where I intend to glue down that piece of paper that started this whole thing. So I figure I don't have to put any paint under it. What I'm going to do is use the exact same tool here to spread my gel medium around, and yes, I got it in some wet paint, and yes, some paint smeared, and guess what? I don't care. And as much fun as I have using a tool, sometimes it's fun just to put your fingers in the paint. So that's what I did. I just grabbed some white, heavy-bodied paint, and I'm just going to town with my fingers, spreading color around, whatever way makes me happy. And because I'm having fun smearing paint around with my fingers, I'm just going to keep doing it. It's not like there are any rules to this stuff. If it makes me happy, I want to do more of it. So that's what I'm doing here. Well, now I decided I wanted to add some more dictionary text to this. So I've got this scrap piece here, so I'm just going to I'm going to rip off a piece of it. And do I take the top? Do I take the bottom? Because clearly this is a very difficult decision. World peace is hanging on this as to when I decide what part I'm going to rip. Luckily, a decision was made. And so now I'm just going to get it down to the size that I want. And as I put it here, I start to realize I really like the word that's on it. So I'm like, as I put the gel medium on the back here, I'm kind of thinking to myself, you know, I kind of like that word. And right now, words are really a big deal to me because it's the National Spelling Bee going on right now. Probably by the time this video goes live, the spelling bee will have just finished up. But I'm really into words right now, and so I'm just starting to look at some of the words that are actually on this piece of dictionary paper. And because I'm starting to get attached to a word there, I've decided I think I'm going to want to protect it from things. I don't want it to get all smeared up and painted up and lost. I need to protect it. And I kept thinking, how am I going to protect it? Am I just going to trust myself not to just put stuff on it? No, I don't have that kind of trust in me because paint ends up everywhere. So that word that's right there, I am going to do a smart thing. I am going to put a piece of artist tape. It's repositionable. It comes right up. I'm going to put that over it, and that will totally protect the word and keep it safe. So that's going to be all great. A little forewarning there, that part isn't going to be great. It's going to become a giant oops, but we'll get to that in a minute. Coming in now with the bubble stencil, and this one is what actually I was playing with when I made that scrap piece that I fell in love with. So I'm going to bring that stencil in, and I'm going to add some more circles around. Well, what's that word that inspired me here on this? The word is involute, not one I use in my everyday language, but it means curved or curling upwards, and so that just keeps me thinking all about circles as I'm doing that. And if you've seen many of my videos or on my blog, you know that I really love words and playing with dictionary papers, and it only gets more intense when it's National Spelling Bee time for me. Well, now it's time. I want to remove the tape over involute because I've protected that. All this paint, all this stuff that I smear and slather everywhere, that word is protected under there because I put a piece of removable artist tape on top of it. I have zoomed way in. I've got it on slow motion for dramatic effect here, and I'm going to lift this tape up, and yes, it ripped apart the word. The one thing that I did to protect it actually removed the word because it's thin dictionary paper that is wet from the glue underneath. So not too surprising that this didn't go quite as planned. Let's call this one giant oops. Well, an oops really is just an outstanding opportunity that presents suddenly. And I had fallen in love with the word involute as I was working on this, and by golly, that word was gonna be on this art journal page. And I thought it was just gonna be this little itty bitty word that I was gonna maybe draw a circle around. But instead I decided, since that one got a little destroyed, I'm just going to make it really big. So I grabbed my vintage typewriter alphabet stencil and I just did the word involute right there on a piece of scrap paper. I ripped it apart and then added some gel medium on the back, and I'm going to slap that right on the top. And now I have a title or a focal image or a main point or whatever you want to call it for my art journal page. And yes, I am kind of pushing this down somewhat carefully because that's still wet paint all over the place. I haven't waited for the paint to dry, so I can't use any pens on this, so I'm going to bring out my fine line applicators that I can use as a pen to write a fine line, hence the name fine line applicator. It's got a skinny metal tip and a little metal thing that goes in there so it won't clog, and I'm going to start adding some scribbling on here. And if I want to write legibly so that people can read what I'm doing, I can do that, but I tend to prefer sort of the loose, scribbly, scratchy type writing. That's my kind of writing that I put in art journal pages. And then I can go around and add little bits of color here and there. But not everything goes as planned. Sometimes there's just an oops when you don't expect it. So as I put that white over it, I went, ugh, I don't like it. So I just called it an oops. And when I was wiping it away with my finger, I liked that look, so I started doing it on more of the letters. And as I finish up this page, I want to say a big thank you to the National Spelling Bee and all the kids who enjoy spelling, that keep that tradition alive, because I like words, although I can't spell them unless I have a dictionary or spell check, and even then it gets somewhat iffy the way I do it. And if you're not a follower of the National Spelling Bee, if you want to see some of the very funny video clips that have happened over the years with the bee, I've got those over on my blog at acolorfuljourney.com, as well as the full blog post and links to all the things that you've seen used in this video. Well, thanks for joining me for my play today. If you'd like to see more of my videos, I'd love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you have friends who you think would enjoy watching this video, I'd love it if you shared it with them. Thanks for being a part of this colorful journey.